Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
Welcome. Before we get rolling, stop, hesitate, and listen. Yeah, that was a reference to a rapper back in the day. Stop, hesitate, and listen. Press the subscribe button. That's a given. That kind of rhymed. Go ahead and press that subscribe button so we can be a part of your daily routine with Amanda LaFratta. I'm Dave Hooker, a monster show on tap today, including the topic that I'm excited about, and that is, who are you not buying in the SEC this season? Maybe who's overrated. Also, we will visit a little bit later with Chris Landry to talk about Byron Young and Tennessee's defense. And we'll talk Cruten with Wilkie Denaud set to make his announcement. Aiden Mizell coming up as well. So we've got a lot to get to on the program today with Amanda LaFratta. I am Dave Hooker. We thank you for listening. And again, please hit that subscribe button and like. It helps us bring you more info on the Vols, and our YouTube page, I will just say, because of Amanda, is incredible. So you've got to check that out. We'd love a subscription there. We'd love notifications on your Twitter and all the good stuff, and make us a part of your day. So if you're just tuning in at any point, you want to go back and listen, we're right there on the YouTube. So Amanda LaFratta, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. It's a Polka Dot Wednesday, a new shirt. Are you giving it a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I like it. I just want to let you know, last night my soul left my body for about 20 minutes after I mowed the lawn in humidity.
You texted me and it was like 5:45 or 6:15, somewhere in there, and you're going out to mow the lawn.
How did that rain? It was supposed to rain, so I was like, well, got to get this done, or the little Italian man that I live with is going to be real mad. So I went outside to do it, and I got inside after an hour, because I mowed the front and the back, push mower, all that stuff. Got inside after an hour, and my soul came through my skin and left my body for a moment, but it returned.
Good.
So
I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad you're alive and with us. So feel free to comment, and we will respond throughout the program, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. So let's get to the starting lineup, what's happening in the wide world of sports, in particular the South. And it's brought to you by our friends at Honeybee Coffee, a great way to start your day. Right there in Knoxville, you can shop online. So just go to Honeybee Coffee, and it's a great product that they're putting together. The top 3% of the beans that are out there in coffee. And Amanda loves coffee. She gives it a big thumbs up. So, okay, she got some right. Yep, she's got some right there. So,
I do. I love it.
Amanda, the starting lineup today, I want to start a little bit outside the box. Big Ten media days, and now there are sources saying that other schools are being considered by the Big Ten, including Oregon, Washington, Stanford, Cal, Miami, and Florida State. So who dies first? Is it the ACC or the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever it is now?
Pac-12. Hands down, the Pac-12's already, it's wounded. It's wounded, and if it sits there, it's going to bleed out.
Yeah, it's not good, but I don't think that the ACC is in great shape either, especially if they lose Florida State and Miami. What really do they have left at that point? And then you're the SEC, which we were at SEC Media Days last week, and I thought the Commissioner, Greg Sankey, was very open and honest. He is not going to just up and add a team for funsies. He feels like he already has a super conference. I tend to agree with that. You've got definitely the two best programs currently in the nation as far as tradition. If you want to look over the past 50 years, you've probably got, I would say 8 of the top 15 or 20, somewhere in there. Yeah,
Are
if
you
you went
talking about
tradition,
with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma?
definitely with that. But
Okay,
I
just
mean,
making sure.
I could probably cobble together 8 pretty quick. Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Florida. So I'm at 5.
LSU
And
wasn't really relevant until
they weren't relevant in the 90s.
no,
That's
they
true. And
were
they were very irrelevant in the 80s. But I think they've done enough now that I
well
would consider
now,
them one of the top. Well, I thought they were one of the top tier programs when Nick Saban took the job
right.
because if you look at per capita, more NFL players come out of the state of Louisiana than any other state. So I thought they were a premier job back then, even when they were terrible in the 80s and 90s.
Right, but
But
they weren't historic. They're not like historically powerhouses, like a powerhouse.
yeah, if you go back to Billy Cannon, but sleeping giant may be a better way to put it. I would put
Okay.
them in the top 20 programs in the nation. So could I come up with 8? I think I could, pretty close to that. So let's say let's do it again: Tennessee, Florida, um, Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Alabama, Georgia. I'm at 7. I feel like I'm missing some. Maybe it's just 7. Maybe it's 7 of the premier of the
Mm,
7 of 20 of the premier. Who am I missing? Am I missing anyone?
I mean, if you're talking football, I don't think you're missing anybody. But if you're talking basketball, too, you'd have to put Kentucky in there. That would be 8.
Yeah, I was leaning towards football, but that certainly. I mean, Kentucky's right up there with the
Missouri.
Blue Buds.
I'm kidding.
Yes, Missouri
I
is
just
good.
wanted to poke the bear this morning.
Yeah, with Elijah, the polka dotted bear. So, and it looks like this is something that's pretty interesting as this conference news continues to shake out. And then we're going to get to Tennessee, as Tennessee will have their media day on Sunday. Also, we have a countdown of the top incomers, whether it be transfers, whether it be whatever. We will discuss them and just incoming freshmen as well. But it looks like a new ESPN offer for the Pac-12 will be $320 million per year for 12 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're looking at what about $25 million per school, somewhere in there. The previous offer was for 24.5 million. So yeah, they are going to lower this now that Southern Cal and UCLA are not going to be a part of it. So I think you're going to see a pretty significant financial bump, Amanda. And again, that just drives people to want to come to the SEC. What program in the nation wouldn't want to be in the SEC? Is there a single program that if the SEC called, they wouldn't answer?
I mean, no, probably not, but I don't see the point. Well, honestly, yes. I think Ohio State and Michigan, neither one of them would answer. I think they would stay in the Big Ten.
No, I think that's yeah, especially with the addition of
Yeah.
USC and UCLA. So
They're
yeah,
just too competitive with the SEC. Like they would rather die on the hill of the Big Ten if it was going down than they would join the SEC.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think we'll find out too exactly what what Notre Dame's going to do. So that's going to be interesting. So it is looking like if you broke up the math now that these individual schools are going to get about 26 million of the $320 million per year contract for 12 years. So I mean that's a significant amount of change, and really all of these contracts just top excuse me, they top one another.
Bless
Um,
you.
so whenever the SEC and the Big Ten contract is close, they were waiting for USC and UCLA. Whenever that comes out, they're going to top that. But while I was watching Big Ten media days, does it not feel like Jim Harbaugh's been the head coach of Michigan for like 80 years? I mean,
Pretty much.
I know he hasn't, but
No. Was it
gosh,
Brady
aren't you?
Hoke was the one before him?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of like, to me, he's a little bit like Aaron Rodgers, that with the the I'm going to stay thing like Brett Favre did, that just gets really, really old. Doesn't that wear on you? My son came home last night and he said, I'm just sick of hearing about Aaron Rodgers, because I brought up, in case you didn't see it, there's a video where he's doing like the Con Air thing and he's brushing back his long hair when Nicolas Cage walks out from the explosion in slow-mo. But Jim Harbaugh is like Aaron Rodgers to me, or Brett Favre. I'm sick of hearing whether or not you're going to stay at your current position next year. I don't go around in my daily life and ask everybody, hey, are you going to be doing the same thing next year?
Well, I know, but if you're going to blame it on anybody, blame it on the media. Don't blame it on Jim Harbaugh. He's not the one out there going, maybe I'll stay, maybe I won't. Let's see. I mean, it's the media constantly asking him.
So you're probably right on that. But what are you supposed to do? Jim Harbaugh, I am surprised, though, that he's hung out as long as he has, because, he took that pay cut. You never hear of a coach taking a pay cut. He took a pay cut at Michigan. So I was like, okay, well, after this year, then he does. I thought he was gone to the NFL, but he's just a weird dude. The more people I talk to in coaching circles are just like, he's just not wired completely right.
No, he is super weird. I heard an interview with Colin Cowherd, who loved Jim Harbaugh before that interview. It was a few years ago, I think, right when he got the Michigan job.
I remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember that interview? Good Lord. Like, that was terrible. Jim Harbaugh was just, as I put it, he was a stale cracker. Like, he was just,
I remember that,
given nothing. And I was like, oh, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you just tell me you don't want to do it? Like, that's my other rule kind of in journalism is no comment me all day. Just don't flat out lie to me and lead me down the wrong path. So those are kind of my two rules. If you just don't want to do the show, don't do the show. But don't show up and be absolutely horrible. I don't care how bad your day is. So you're talking to an awful lot of people. Okay, so Amanda and I rarely disagree, as that is Headlines, brought to you again by Honeybee Coffee right there in Knoxville, but you can shop online, Honeybee Coffee. So we don't disagree a lot. We agree that...
To disagree.
We even agree on my faults at times. But we are disagreeing a little bit on today's tough question, which we will post on Twitter. Today's tough question brought to you by our friends at Pedigo in Chattanooga. You don't know what it's like to have an e-bike until you have an e-bike, and then you're scooting all over town, and you're having a fantastic time because of Pedigo Chattanooga. It's a great way to get around downtown Chattanooga. Pedigo, it's about quality, not about just shipping them out to you. So today's tough question. Here is what I like a lot. And I thought of this and I was super proud of myself last night. Amanda and I are workaholics. So we're texting each other at midnight when we have to be up at fairly early. Amanda earlier than me, because she's got to get gussied up. I just hop in the shower, run a razor across my face, and here we go. So I love it. Well, yeah, you don't have any stubble. So I love this question. I love this question. But Amanda doesn't like it.
I don't like it.
So so those that are watching right now can go ahead and comment if you like this question, because I love it. And I want to play this one for a little bit, and then we can change it up if you want. But who would you want to date your sister? Aaron Rodgers, okay, or Nicolas Cage? Or how about who would you allow to date your sister?
Neither one.
Okay, then it's Aaron Rodgers, Nicolas Cage, neither. And let's see where that goes. And then we can reset it later. That is a golden question. So let me ask you this. You have a sister. I'm an only child. So I don't care what all the women in the world are doing other than my mom, wife, and daughter. So, and you. Well, I mean, I hope as long as things are going good. But I love that question because Aaron Rodgers is so self-centered and Nicolas Cage is so self-centered that I don't know if Aaron Rodgers meant to draw that parallel when he did the "I'm brushing my hair back, walking to practice, camp is open, I'm Nicolas Cage." I don't know if he meant to do that, Amanda.
I think he did.
But they're both so unbearable. And have you seen that Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Immense Talent, which is like a loose film about Nicolas Cage's career? You know, he does like 8 movies a year.
Yeah,
And
no,
because he needs the money. Because he bought all kinds of houses, and then the
Didn't
housing
he buy
market.
an island or something?
He bought an island and he bought like a
That's what I
mansion
thought.
in downtown New Orleans. A mansion in downtown New Orleans.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. That's like one of the places on the earth that you want to get in and out. You have a good time for 3 days.
Yes.
You don't live there. I'd be fat as
No.
all get out.
Well,
So
also you could get taken out by like a hurricane. Seriously, like I mean, that I'm saying not you personally, but your house could be destroyed by a hurricane or floods. Like we saw, it's not great down there to
yeah,
live.
that is
So.
true. New Orleans is on my list of places that I don't need to go back to. So, who would you allow to date your sister? Aaron Rodgers, Nicolas Cage, or neither? We got to roll with that.
No, everyone's gonna choose neither. Everyone.
Okay,
No.
then don't put neither. You have to say you have to choose one.
Well,
Yes.
you don't have to if you don't vote.
Okay, you have to choose one. Give it a shot, and we'll reset it. If it doesn't play, we'll reset it. It's that simple.
Okay, well, then we should put neither in there. But also, I wanted to do which quarterback would you take for this season in the NFL? That was mine because there could be some debate there.
I love that. We will get to that. But can we start with this? But let me ask you the question. Would it be Aaron Rodgers or Nicolas Cage? You have a sister. Michael already says neither.
I told you.
That's right. Okay, but Michael, you got to pick one. So give me one. Yeah, Michael, give me one that you have to take. So neither is the way that Michael's going, but I believe there's hope out there for Aaron Rodgers.
I'd pick Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I would probably pick Aaron Rodgers because he's, in the NFL and you get to go to the super cool events.
And
But
he's
I'm
not
actually going to go Nicolas Cage because he's so awesome and quirky. I just think hanging out with him would be kind of cool.
I'd knock his teeth out. I couldn't handle it.
Well, I mean, I would have to take a break. There would be some extended something like where I have to get away. And Michael does say, if I had to pick, it would be Rodgers.
Well, yeah, because Rodgers is at least, I think he's 38, so that helps. Nicolas Cage is 20 years older than Rodgers and a weirdo. I wouldn't let my sister date Nicolas Cage unless I got a yacht.
A yacht? What?
Something.
Okay. Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers probably has more money than Nicolas Cage. Because
possibly, but I feel like he hoards it.
No, Nicolas Cage went bankrupt. He overspent.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, so you're not going to get the yacht with Rodgers.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well,
he is a national treasure, though. That's true.
Yeah, and I got Foggy Gaming said Nick Cage is a national treasure, literally, because he was in that. And yes, Michael, we are pimping out our sisters.
I don't have a sister. Saying, if I had to choose one or the other, like what's the upside here for myself when it comes to myself? If I'm gonna act like Aaron Rodgers or Nicolas Cage and just focus on me, I need to figure out what the upside is.
Okay, I told you that question was gold. That's gold, Jerry. Gold.
I know.
Gold. I told you that was absolutely marvelous. I still have my moments. I'm not too old for that, despite all the gray hair. I want to remind you that City Heating and Air Conditioning right there in North Knoxville is the place that you need to go to in order to get your unit looked at. Don't believe in all those trucks driving around that say a $29 service call. It's integrity at City Heating and Air Conditioning. They will take care of you. Back in 2 minutes. It's Nicolas Cage is winning this thing. He's going to win so
not gonna
much.
Win. Just because you'd be worried he should end up in his basement.
So much talent. What if I did the rest of the show in my Nicolas Cage voice?
I quit.
Back in 2 minutes. Off the Hook Sports.
Gary Viles here. I want to personally invite you to North Knoxville's newest sports bar and restaurant. It's Big Orange Phillies, located in Black Oak Center. And yes, folks, it's happening in Halls. Big Orange Phillies offers family-friendly environment with homemade meals and the best deli-style subs around. Billiards, darts, jukebox, shuffleboard, and cornhole, and a full bar. We also offer valet parking on weekends and during special events. We even have a covered back patio. It's happening at Big Orange Phillies. We want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
This is Al's Nest Barbecue Supply, so come on in and see all the different rubs and sauces we have, plus a complete line of Green Mountain grills. Don't be overwhelmed. We have plenty of help so you can produce the best barbecue and amaze your family and friends. Barbecue is America's food. We'll do what we can to bring you all the best products. We're Al's Nest Barbecue, where Chattanooga goes to grill.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
I love Amanda LaFratta, just absolutely throwing heat during the break, playing off the question. So we're going to change it up just a little bit. If you're watching on video, she's proud of herself. She's got the face. And so we were going to say, who would you let your sister date? Would it be Nicolas Cage or would it be Aaron Rodgers? But they're both weirdos, so we would stick with the weirdos. But this guy happens to be a cheater too. And that is who. Okay, so you go ahead and put it out there because I'm going to go ahead and vote for Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Which person would you pick to date your sister?
Aaron Rodgers, Nicolas Cage, or Jeremy Pruitt. Yay.
At the end of the day, can Jeremy Pruitt get absolutely 0 votes?
Probably will. I wanted to include Amber Heard in that, but I decided against it.
I don't know who Amber Heard is.
The Johnny Depp. Amber
Heard. So she
the
would date your sister?
Crazy girl. No, would you pick her to date your sister? But then I thought there's some weirdos out there who could comment on that, and that'd be
weird. So we just decided to move on.
We just decided to
and
move
went
on
with Jeremy Pruitt, who, by the way, we did pick 3 unique weirdos. I mean,
we did.
And Jeremy Pruitt is not just a bad coach and a cheater. He's a weirdo in person too.
Somebody voted for Jeremy Pruitt.
Oh my gosh, already? Oh my gosh. Craft Treats is the place that you need to go for that CBD treats. They've got the minor cannabinoids that increase the benefits of CBD. Go to Craft Treats. That's crafttreats.com. Great for situational anxiety, things like storm anxiety for your pet, car ride anxiety, and more. So we remind you to stop, hesitate, and listen. Hit the subscribe button. We certainly appreciate that. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button and turn your notifications on so that we can be a part of your daily routine. So Who are you not buying in the SEC this season? We come off of SEC Media Days, and it's all rainbows and rose petals, and everything's great. Everybody's going to finish second to Georgia and Alabama in the East and West, respectively. It's just a matter of them all tying and finishing. Everything's great, right? That's how the SEC Media Days is supposed to work. However, one of these teams that we have talked about in oftentimes glowing terms, Amanda, will not live up to the hype. So yesterday we did sleepers. I had South Carolina, and you had LSU, which I thought was a very astute pick. If I could have gone back, I probably would have changed that. But who is most likely to falter this season, Amanda, and not reach their potential, whatever that potential might be? So that's based off projections. Now, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
I'm going to go first.
Okay, shoot.
Georgia.
God blame it.
Is that who you were going to pick?
Yeah, I was going to pick Georgia as well.
No,
because
Georgia.
I think Georgia still wins the East. I do. But I think Georgia kind of loaded up, and they were fortunate that they had a ton of defensive talent. I think it was also a situation where you wanted to load up and beat Alabama. Now a lot of those people are gone, and people just naturally assume that Georgia's another national championship contender. I use the generational top player when I talk about Will Anderson, but I don't throw that around loosely. That was a generational type of defense. Okay, that defense that happened last year was that good. It's not going to be that good this year, and I think that Georgia will be good, and they will certainly be one of the top teams in the SEC and perhaps the nation. But there's a big difference between being number 1 and number 5 through 7, which I think is where they will eventually fall. So that's falling short of their expectations. So we both have Georgia. If you had to go anybody else, who would it be?
So the reason I go Georgia is, I'm just going to let you know for that. The reason I go Georgia is because I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. I think, as you said, LSU had a really great offense under Joe Burrow, a once in a lifetime kind of thing. And I think Georgia's defense was similar to that, and you just don't repeat after that. Georgia faces Oregon at the beginning. They could fall there. I mean, then they go to South Carolina, and a couple weeks after, they could fall there. It just depends on who they're facing. But if I had to go with somebody else, I would say Arkansas. I don't think it's going to live up to the hype.
That's
I know
fine.
they're super hyped, but still.
See, I really like Arkansas. That surprises me to say that. But I mean, my question is, what do you expect out of Arkansas to see if they fall short of that? That kind of depends. What are your expectations of Arkansas?
Well, I feel like people expect Arkansas to go in and win about probably eight games, something of that nature, and I don't think they're going to do it.
I like a lot what Sam Pittman has done. I like the story there. There is a glass ceiling. That is one of those programs like South Carolina, who we picked yesterday, that you're only going to get so good because either of in-state talent or lack of financial support. South Carolina has a lack of financial support compared to the Alabamas, Tennessees, and Georgias of the world. And then with Arkansas, you just don't have a lot of in-state talent. And so Arkansas right now is at 6.5. So I can't fly with you there. I think they'll win over 6.5 games. I think they'll win 7 or 8. So I want to throw out another potential possibility, and that is Florida. So the whole time we were down at SEC Media Days, I don't know how many people you talked to about this, but I kept getting over and over and over how great Billy Napier was. And I appreciate that. I do. But by the same token, I've got to see it. I got to see a culture change, and I think that's a struggle for anybody in year one. Also, Anthony Richardson looks like a stud. He is kind of like a Cam Newton, I've been told by some people in coaching circles, but ultimately he's got to prove it too. So I think Florida could fall way short of where they are this year, where they're predicted. Now, they're predicted at 7 wins, so that's not a lot. If I made it 7.5, would you take the over or the under just for the sake of argument and no ties?
I'd take the under just because I don't feel like a lot of people in the media expected a lot out of Florida this year, to be honest. Really? No, when we were down there, it was a battle between, you had Georgia first, and then you had a battle between Tennessee and Kentucky for second and third. Then after that, it was kind of a meh. You know, who's Florida really going up against in the SEC East after, you know, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Georgia? There's not. I mean, you have Mizzou, you have Vandy.
Yeah, I get this really weird feeling that South Carolina is going to beat Florida this year. And then I think Florida with Napier will turn the tide and start a streak after this year that will be significant. But I just have a weird feeling that South Carolina is going to beat Florida again.
And Tennessee.
So you think South Carolina beats Tennessee? I don't.
No. I think that South Carolina beats Florida and Tennessee beats Florida. And I think that's all she wrote for Florida.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I really could. And listen, Billy Napier probably will get things turned around based off what I've heard about him. They'll probably be good again, but it's no given. We talked earlier in the show about LSU being a sleeping giant. So was Florida. I mean, people forget that. Before Steve Spurrier, nobody talked about how much talent there was in the state of Florida, man. They were horrible.
They were not great.
And you know, now we've discovered that there's all this talent in Florida. It took us 30 years to do that, I guess. But I mean, why Florida wasn't better earlier on is befuddling. So there we go. So as far as who we're not buying, we are not buying. Amanda's not buying Arkansas. Neither of us are buying Florida. And I am not.
Georgia.
And we're both Georgia too. Mitchell says under all day on Florida with the 7. You make it 7.5, Mitchell. I'm with you. I think 7's a perfect number. I think they probably win 7. I think the Vegas guys. I think the Vegas guys nailed it on this one.
I mean, I honestly don't know because I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Mitchell. I think I'm gonna go under on 7. I don't see it.
All right, so who we're not buying, there you go. And that is brought to you by our friends at Big Orange Phillies. Big Orange Phillies is in the heart of Halls. You will love Big Orange Phillies. Why? Because you can get to a family-friendly place with great, fresh food and also hang out with billiards, karaoke. They've got the whole 9 yards. The last karaoke song you sang, Amanda, was?
Nothing. I don't sing. I don't care how drunk you get me. I'm not singing in public.
Well, my intent is not to get you drunk and singing in public. I have been cajoled into karaoke one time, and I think it was Baby Got Back, and it didn't go well. My friends actually pulled me off the stage. Yes.
That is shocking.
Yeah, but when you bump into 3 high school friends and they're all ladies and they say, let's go out, but you have to sing, and you're like, hey, this will be fun, so you sing. But you need to be well aware of SEC Media Days is in Birmingham next year instead of Atlanta. It's in
I thought it was in Nashville.
Is it in Nashville next year?
Yeah, people are saying it was in Nashville because they were probably going to do it at Opryland Hotel
that's
in
right.
Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know. I just want you to know that it is a Birmingham Hoover tradition whenever we actually return to Hoover in Birmingham, which is the home of the SEC. It is a tradition to have media karaoke night every Tuesday for SEC Media Days?
Absolutely not doing it. I sound like a dying cat.
Well, you'll at least go, won't you?
I'll go, but you're not getting me up there.
Actually, you're not allowed to go. It's a great networking event, and I don't want somebody to hire you away. So you're forbidden to go. I'm not even going to tell you where it is.
I think you're good.
Good. I hear Barrett Sallee with CBS Sports can really carry a tune. That's what I hear. But
Danny Pritchard, I think you're right. Sorry,
Danny says if Tennessee beats Florida, it will be a great season. I think it will happen. It's in Knoxville.
I think I take the under on the 7.
Boy, we were writing something. I can't even remember what it was. And sometimes you lose track. And what was the stat? Tennessee had only beaten Florida one time since 2005. You called me and you said, can you double check that? That doesn't sound right. And I was like, I know, I triple checked it, but I quadrupled. It just doesn't sound right. I think Tennessee can beat Florida.
Oh, I think if you don't beat Florida and you're Tennessee, then you got problems. I mean, you really have problems because Florida, I hate it. I know they're going with Anthony Richardson at quarterback, but they didn't even decide that till recently. So you got problems if you're Florida. And if you don't beat them, Tennessee, you got problems.
Boy, I miss that rivalry the way it used to be. The winner has the inside track to the SEC championship game. It just used to be so. Yeah, I was old, but so the CBS trucks would roll in on Monday before the game to start doing their pre-stuff. And it was there was a different vibe walking around campus when I was a student there the Florida week. I mean, it's almost like you didn't want to go to class and you just wanted to go home. Well, there wasn't the internet, but you wanted to go somewhere and you wanted to read about the upcoming game. I mean, I guess you picked up a paper. People still do that. So it was just a special moment. I would love for it to get back to that, but I don't think it ever will again. I mean,
it will. Calm down.
Amanda, it was the biggest game of the month of September in all of college football.
It's still a huge game. I mean, even if, take it from me, not being a fan of either one, I still want to watch that game. If for nothing else, it is always, I feel like it's always down to the wire, or at least most of the time it is. And somebody's always mad. And then somebody is I listen to the sports radio or whatever. And Tennessee sports radio, I listened to it one time. And I think it was in 2015.
Wait, are we talking?
The Florida-Tennessee game.
So you listen to the Vol Network? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. But whoever was on there, he was so mad. So mad because it came to a field goal. And, I mean, he was irate.
Well, the best is Tim Priest with the Jabbar Gaffney catch, no catch. I don't know if you remember this in the end zone. He had it for an instant, and technically, according to the rules in the end zone, that was, I know a lot of people remember this, but that was technically a catch. But it didn't look like a catch because he had it instantaneously, and it was knocked out of his hands. Technically, according to that rule, it was a catch. And I remember Tim Priest just screaming, who I love Tim Priest, and we're going to have on the program before long, just screaming, no. And it was just this desperation because he wasn't screaming that Tennessee was going to lose. He was screaming that wasn't a catch. But it was so emotional and so great that I played it several times on a show called Sports Talk that you might have heard of, to the point that the Vol Network called and said, maybe that's enough. And maybe, because I played it as rejoins the whole time because I thought it was awesome.
I would have said, you know what, my show, my thing. Sorry, hate it for you. I'll play it as many times as I want.
That's kind of what I said. 22 years right there on Chapman Highway. It's the Mattress Place, Marine Corps veteran owned and A+ accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. Over 225 5-star reviews on Google. Huge selection and no gimmicks, just 30 to 70% off. Danny is absolutely just feeling it. He's got Nico will beat them next year too. So not only is Danny predicting a win this year, he's predicting a freshman goes to the swamp and gets the win next year, and that's a winning streak. 2's a streak. Is 2 a streak? Look, everybody, we're streaking.
Okay, calm down. I think you have to make 3 or more to be a streak, because 2 is a couple. Like,
Fair.
that's not a streak.
It's like the word a few.
It's a line.
Zool Beer Company, got to check them out. And Zool Beer Company's award-winning, Amanda, and a great place to hang out. We're going to have some pre-football weekend parties at Zool Beer that we're looking forward to. That should be an awful lot of fun. And they win the big-time awards, too.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And I know we're having our first Kill the Lights Festival, and that's on homecoming weekend for Tennessee. And it's going to be like over 50 breweries. They're going to have to close down the streets. Like, it's going to be insane. So
sweet.
I know tickets are on sale. They might be sold out. I'm not sure if they will be or not, or if they are or not, but they will sell out. So if you haven't gotten a ticket to go, get a ticket to go.
G. Smith saying, I don't think Nico will start next year. Now, that's intriguing. Maybe
that's
we'll get
for
to
a
that.
different day.
Yeah, but maybe we touch base on that just a little bit after this, because would it be a disappointment if he didn't start from day one? I mean, a lot of freshmen don't. Back in 2 minutes, Off the Hook Sports.
It's Gary Viles here, Viles Automotive on Callahan Drive. I've been selling cars here in East Tennessee for 27 years. In that time, I've come to realize it's not about the car. It's about you, the customer. So I'm here to take care of you just like family. Good credit, bad credit, you name it, we can get you taken care of. If we don't have it, we can find it for you. We go across the country to get any vehicle that you want. And here at Viles Automotive, we don't believe in fake numbers. We just give you great deals. And as always, we want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
This is Steve Rain. I own the Midnight Oil and Michelin Tire Direct service station here in Ottawa. It's not a fancy place, never has been, but it's a clean place with clean restrooms and good folks who work here. We sell gas and fix cars, nothing glamorous, but we love what we do, and we're going to keep doing it for a long time to come. There's not many real service stations left, and that's a shame. We're the guys just like the guys back in your hometown. We'll fix your tire, change your oil, and put a new set of Michelins on your car. If you want a Twinkie, you'll just have to keep on going. Thanks for the business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
All right, welcome back. I just am getting absolutely berated during the break by Amanda. I mean, just bleh. She's like, your question's terrible. You're terrible. You're ugly. You're getting fat again. And so what she
I did
said,
not say all that.
He said all of that in a quick break.
Not.
Yeah, it was. Are my feelings hurt? Yes, they are. But she wants to reset today's tough question, which,
I do.
Okay, we can reset it. What was it originally?
So it was originally, which person would you pick to date your sister? And it's Aaron Rodgers, Nicolas Cage, or Jeremy Pruitt. And nobody wants to pick any of them to date their sister. Let's be honest.
If you have to pick one, that's the one.
But nobody has to pick one, and they don't want to think about that.
That's fair. By the way, what comedy is most overrated was today's tough question yesterday, and it was between Super Troopers, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber. Super Troopers won, and it should have. Ace Ventura and
Told you.
and Dumb and Dumber are just absolute classics. And Danny and G. Smith going back and forth. I can go ahead and tell you today's tough question for tomorrow if you're ready for that. And that's going to be, will you be disappointed if Nico Amuleva doesn't start game?
No.
Yeah.
No. It should be who's going to be Tennessee's starting quarterback in 2023. That should be the tough question. Because then you could go through Milton, Jackson, Nico. Like, you have several different options so people can go back and forth.
I like it.
This is why I handle the today's tough questions, Dave.
Okay, fair. And Danny and G. Smith going back and forth says Milton will start and Jackson will back him up. Danny saying Jackson's a good quarterback, but Milton throws it over everybody's head. That is true. I think, listen,
Milton can't hit anything.
Well, and I don't want to put anything on one. I don't want to put too much on one play, but the Ole Miss play was pretty ridiculous. The lack of field awareness just to bounce out of bounds. That was goofy.
Did you see the meme?
No.
It was pretty bad, but it was kind of funny. Where people were like, had Milton, and people were like, why didn't you throw it at the end? And he was like, the announcers came over the intercom and said everybody should stop throwing things. So I just decided to stop throwing. And I was like,
that's pretty funny. And I don't like trashing young men whatsoever, but he has major mechanical issues that if they're not, he's never going to be accurate unless he basically, think of it like this. Think of it as a really, really bad shooter. Who is the guy who, I can't remember his name, tall, lanky guy, great on defense, perimeter player, can't shoot, played for the 76ers, help me. He can't shoot.
I can't help you. I don't watch the NBA.
He passes up threes, but the point being is you've got to completely tear down Joe Milton. I don't know if they're doing this in the offseason, but his mechanics, man, you've got to do something there. And I don't know if that can be done in an offseason. Alice Nest Barbecue, great place to stop in for whatever your barbecue needs are right there in Ottawa. And Alice Nest Barbecue can provide you with the pellets that you need with the awesome Green Mountain grills. They can also hook you up with all the sauces, the rubs, everything you need for your barbecue. Do it like a champ. And G. Smith saying Milton is Hooker's backup now from what I've read and seen of it. No, Milton is Hooker's backup now as opposed to Jackson.
I hope he's gotten better.
Again, I don't want to sound I don't want to sound like I'm trashing a kid. I think there's a real glass ceiling there. I mean, unless you just tore him down, built him back up.
Danny says Milton should be a running back, and he might be accurate. I'm not saying I haven't seen anything from him since that game.
Ben Simmons, by the way, somebody helped me out. Ben Simmons can't shoot past
Ben Simmons, that's who it is. I've heard of him. I just don't like the NBA at all.
I do. So I got you covered there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you would have to tear down Joe Milton, basically, and start anew. And I don't know that he wants to do that. I don't know that Tennessee has the time to do that. So you're resetting today's tough question. Is that what we're doing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do.
What you're going to do, Danny says Milton should be going back. He's runs too straight up. Danny, I don't think he would have any non-fractured ribs at the end of the season. Sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
You could teach that. You could teach them to.
You want to teach a quarterback to get low and behind his pads at 22 years old? 21?
Well, are you going to teach him to hit, a receiver mid-stride at 22 years old?
I feel like we're dancing around the fact that Joe Milton's not very good. So that's the facts.
No offense, Joe Milton.
Yeah,
godsend.
And prove us wrong.
But would be happy to see it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm resetting today's tough question. And I'm saying, who would you take as your starting quarterback in the NFL? And I have Aaron Rodgers. I have Deshaun Watson. I have Kyler Murray, and I have Baker Mayfield.
Okay, now
choices.
am I getting Deshaun Watson where I know the suspension?
No, you're getting Deshaun Watson just without the
As a player?
suspension.
Okay,
Just as a player.
so I've got a football team. I'm playing a game tomorrow. I've got any of these guys. Doesn't matter what happens off the field. So who are the 4 again?
So it's Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, or Baker Mayfield.
It's not close.
Okay, should I take Baker out and put Tom Brady in there?
Well, then you get in the whole 1-year thing. No, I'm okay with Baker. Put Baker in there.
It's just for this year.
Okay, just for this year? Well,
yeah,
then
based on talent and also off the field issues is kind of where I'm going with this.
Well, if you've put Brady in, I like the 4 you've got because I think they all have issues. Brady has no issues. He's going to show up. I heard they might get Julio Jones for a 1-year contract.
They did get Julio.
They did. So that's done. They're going to win another Super Bowl. And I'm waiting for Gronk to decide that, hey, I don't like to practice, but I'll play because Tom called me. In the worst retirement ever, the agent said, well, he's retired unless Tom calls. Okay, that's not a retirement.
Well, Tom's going to call. Well, Tom retired for like 45 days or something like that.
Yeah.
So
to get Bruce Arians fired. That's the way that whole thing shook out. So Bruce Arians left, and then Tom Brady announced the next day that he was returning to the Bucs. I do love how, as a society, we think that all of these people that we follow are altruistic. They're not. No. They're self-serving. No. You don't get to that point. Yeah, well, everybody is, but especially at that level of eliteness, you don't get to that level without
running some people over in the process.
It's exactly right. So, did want to get to Chris Landry's thoughts on Byron Young as Tennessee is set to open camp on Monday. They'll have their media day on Sunday. But here's Chris Landry's thoughts on Byron Young, Tennessee's defensive end. Chris Landry has been a scout for Nick Saban. He has been a coach for Bill Belichick. He knows what he's talking about at Landry football. Chris, what do you think of Byron Young?
Well, I thought Byron had a really good year last year. I know that, you don't think defense at Tennessee. It's what kind of most people don't think. So maybe it takes a performance like Byron had and a couple of others had that were really good. I thought they were really good at getting into the backfield. They were top 10 in the nation in tackles for loss per game. And it was really, Byron Young and Jeremy Banks were the 2 biggest reasons why. Those 2 guys played very well, but from Byron's standpoint, I thought he did a really good job penetrating. I think he's going to be a big part of, their improvement, if there is to be improvement. But, Tyler Barron is back, across from Young. That's going to be key. And, he kind of played with the transfer portal, but they need more consistent pressure from the pass rush. And, they need Byron to play well. They need to have guys behind him and opposite him play well. But edge pressure was pretty good. Needs to even be more consistent this year. But not surprising that he got some recognition among coaches. And, well, I don't really know who voted on the award, but he certainly played well and on film.
Yep, he did. He played well and on film. It was the media, so we don't know what we're talking about half the time. I think despite Alabama's run, the media's only picked the SEC champion like maybe half the time, which you would think it'd be pretty easy. Pick Alabama every year. So I'm going to defend Amanda, not that she needs it, because she can defend herself. She's feisty. But I'm going to defend her on this because G. Smith asked about today's tough question. It says, why those quarterbacks? That's tough. Rodgers is old. He
answered it.
I know. One guy's suspended. I know. He asked why the question, and then he answered it with, that's why. It's snarky and interesting. Rodgers is old. One guy is suspended for a year. Murray is short as hell. And Baker, who knows what he'll look like. Out of those 4, which is the most surprising?
You got to pick one.
Which has the most surprising year? I think it'll be Baker. I heard it. I think Baker's realized that he has to have that sort of confidence, but that it can cross the line into cockiness. He doesn't need to be on commercials when the Browns just finished the season like 6-10. He knows that. So, and also G. Smith pointed out that Hooker said that Joe Milton could throw the ball 100 yards. Well, really, when you get to this level, arm strength is not the key. If you ask anybody, G. Smith, that it's really accuracy. That's the one thing. It's not only hitting a receiver so that he catches the ball, it's hitting a receiver so he can run with the ball. One of the best I've seen.
Go ahead.
No.
Everybody also said that A.J. McCarron could throw the ball 75 yards.
Oh, I don't remember that about A.J. I remember his girlfriend. Brent Musburger was a big fan. Look at that girlfriend.
That was the most awkward thing, watching that game. And I was just like,
yes,
calm down, man. She's
young
enough to be your granddaughter. Just
the over-under on that chick is 9.5.
Okay, you gotta stop.
It was creepy. It was weird.
You don't have to make it even more creepy.
Well, you get the betting reference because Brent Musburger was known for gambling on games he called, which is frowned upon. I'll tell you who doesn't bet on games is Viles Automotive Group. Viles Automotive Group is right there on Callahan. They have the selection. They have the service department to keep you going. But best of all, they've got integrity. I mean, isn't that really what it's all about when it comes to car shopping? That's what's difficult to find. Well, Viles Automotive Group has that right there on Callahan. They want, they need, and they appreciate your business. So I know this is a semi-big week for Tennessee recruiting. So let's get to Talking Cruten, brought to you by Viles Automotive Group.
Talking Cruten.
Am I right or am I right or am I right?
Who's on Tennessee's board? The names you need to know exclusively on Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker.
So Wilkie Denard out of Florida is set to make his announcement on Wednesday afternoon. Depending on when you're listening to this, he may have already done so. But nevertheless, let's forward the story a little bit. I'm told that he'll probably choose Auburn, but Florida State has a shot. So it probably isn't going to be Tennessee. But it may be. But let's look at what could happen to Auburn. Okay, so if he commits to Auburn, I think it's imperative for Tennessee fans not to get all rowdy on him on Twitter, as can happen. I don't think
you
it'll
never
happen.
Do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you should never
do ever. Yeah. Don't get rowdy with these kids. They're kids. They're 17. Chill out.
Agreed. And there's only been like one incident where I thought a prospect kind of teased a fan base, that I understood it, but I still didn't condone it, but I kind of understood it. But he is set to make his decision. And then another one that is pretty interesting is Aiden Mizell will announce his decision. The wide receiver is set to announce his decision on Friday. We'll see where he ends up. He's a little bit tougher to predict from the people that I've talked to in recruiting circles. Yeah, I think that Aiden Mizell very well could end up at Tennessee. I think that's a possibility. He will make his announcement on Friday down to Alabama and Florida and the Vols. As for Tennessee, he said they're an up-and-coming program, and I have a great relationship with the whole coaching staff. So to choose between the three, if you want to go pros or cons, correct me if I'm wrong, at Tennessee, you probably get to play sooner than later. At Alabama, most likely you're going to have to wait, but there's definitely proof that waiting's okay at Alabama. You can have a great NFL career. At Florida, there's some uncertainty there. So I see no reason why Tennessee can't pick up Mizell. I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility.
I think
it'll end up being Florida.
Maybe. But who was the prospect that teased a fan base? I think we're all waiting for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tease it forward. I can't even remember. But there was one who went back and forth, and he was having fun with it. I've seen this happen, not to this. There was only one that I thought really crossed the line, but I've seen this happen with fan bases before. Not fan bases, prospects that tease fan bases. The ultimate example, I'll give you this, is Jalen Ramsey. I think I've told you this when I first went to Brentwood to interview some guy named Max Staver who went to Florida and was a stiff. And this guy comes in, Jalen Ramsey, and he was stunned that I wanted to interview him for ESPN. He goes, "You want to interview me?" And he was going into his junior year. And I said, "Well, your coach said I should." And I really thought that it would just, post it like we all tend to do in content creation. And I wrote a story about him, but did I think he'd be anything? No. And now he's one of the best corners in the NFL. Along that way, I was not necessarily threatened, but asked very sternly to take down a story that I'd written about him that was factual. And he got caught up in the recruiting process, and he did some teasing back and forth with Florida State and Tennessee. And but that is not the one example that just I can't remember. I'll probably remember it as soon as the show's over, but I can't remember the exact. Man, I wish I could remember his name. All right, so this day in sports history, brought to you by Amanda LaFratta and Vassy Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. Toro, count on it. They've got it all. Commercial, residential mowers. They're right there. Vassy Lawn and Garden in Cleveland. So this day in sports history, Amanda, what do we got? Anything exciting going on?
Something that you'll love, but then also something that was sad. So in 1996, the bomb explodes in Atlanta at the Olympics, that Olympic Park.
Oh my gosh.
That was a whole.
I pointed out that location when I was in the car with your husband last week in Atlanta.
Yep.
So
there's that.
And they weren't friends at the time, but I know a lot of people that were covering that for the News Sentinel. So and then they got the wrong guy.
There's a whole movie on it. I haven't watched it, but there's a whole movie.
Yeah, that Jewel guy, that poor
Richard Jewell.
He looked like such a schlub. Poor guy. I mean, he's on the front of every paper. He ended up winning the big lawsuit for defamation.
As he should have.
Did they ever find out who did it? Who actually did it?
I think they had to. Didn't they? I don't know. They just know it wasn't him.
Yeah, we just know that it wasn't.
We just know it's definitely
Richard,
not him.
Richard, the good news is you didn't do it. The bad news is we have no idea who did.
Yes,
all right, so what else happened on this day in sports history?
So for you, in 1999, Tony Hawk is the first skateboarder to land a 900. Just for you, because you have a man crush on Tony Hawk.
I don't have a man crush on Tony Hawk.
You have a man crush on Tony Hawk.
I like Tony Hawk. I think his Twitter feed was funny for a long time. And they did find the guy. It was Eric Rudolph, some psycho.
I thought that they did.
Yeah.
I have one more sports history. I know it's a lot, but we had a lot going on in the history.
Have you thought about
today?
How crazy a 900 is, though?
Yes, I know. See, I told you have a man crush on Tony Hawk. Okay, so also in last year, this is the day that Simone Biles withdrew from the team finals in the Tokyo Olympic Games.
It was just last year.
It was last year, 2021. She withdrew, but for everyone ripped her. Do you remember that? They ripped her. They're like,
why did she withdraw again?
It actually came out that she withdrew because she had the condition when you're a gymnast, you'll sometimes get this where it's like vertigo, but it's vertigo flipped upside down. So when you tumble and stuff, because I used to tumble, when you do that stuff, something happens and you'll get vertigo. But whereas when you're doing stuff in the moment, you can tell where the ground is and where it's not. But when you get that condition, you can't tell. So she could have really hurt herself. She could have landed on her head and it would have been really, really bad. So she withdrew and she said it was a mental problem, which it was a mental problem, not a mental health problem.
Right. So just like getting vertigo, that's not a depression issue. It's
a
different.
mental problem. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's like an imbalance. It's like a balance problem.
Have you ever been around anybody that's had vertigo before?
I actually have.
Weird.
It's bad. It's bad. Like you can't do anything. You have to lay. It's not. People think of it as getting dizzy. It's not getting dizzy. It's physically just not being able to tell where you're at. Like it's really bad.
Eesh, I don't want that. I don't want. And see, I still do a lot of tumbling, so I don't want what Simone Biles has either. I just go in my backyard and do some cartwheels from time to time.
You just tumble like with words, like you don't really tumble.
What can you do still to this day from a tumbling standpoint?
Nothing. I haven't tried because I don't want to try. On a trampoline, I can do everything I used to do in high school. But no, I'm not trying that. I don't want to die right now.
You could have been on the Man Show.
The humidity, no.
Don't you remember the Man Show?
Yes, I wear
bras. Girls on trampolines?
I wear bras. So, no, I'm not on the Man Show. But
my wife has jumped on that trampoline.
I know you told me, but not during the show.
That's why
I almost died in the humidity yesterday. So I'm not going to try to purposely go out there and land on my head. Like, it's just not going to happen. And by the way, cherry pie is my favorite pie. Someone asked yesterday, and you didn't give me an opportunity to tell them. But it's cherry pie. So good.
Okay. So our reset poll question, where is it? Anybody voted yet at this point? As you didn't like mine at all. I loved mine.
Well, yours, no one else liked it because no one wanted to have their sister date anybody that you listed. So
I would love it if I had a sister who dated Nicolas Cage. Aaron Rodgers, 75% of the vote. Who would you take as your quarterback in the NFL this season? I don't think there's any doubt. Who would you take to recommend a masseuse? Deshaun Watson. Have a fantastic day, everyone. For Amanda LaFratta, I'm Dave Hooker. Have yourself a good rub down today.
Okay, no.
There's nothing wrong with massages if you do it the right way.
So awkward to say, though. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers is going to have the most surprising year because he's going to win the Super Bowl.
Could happen. He looked really stupid in that Nicolas Cage thing, but it was kind of cool at the same time.
Looks dirty.
Yeah. G. Smith saying that's terrible. Yeah. Sorry.
The rub down. Yep. The rub down is terrible.
We'll be here tomorrow, and you can completely tear me apart. By the way, wait and see. Jimmy Haslam's about to be in the news. Just giving you a little hint. The owner of the Browns with ties to Tennessee. No, not that. No,
did he go with Deshaun Watson?
He did not. But it's the contract that he signed Deshaun Watson to that is really, really, really frustrating NFL owners because it's all guaranteed. It's unprecedented. And I'm telling you that the media will descend on him because he has to speak because football season is here. One of the things
are massages included?
Included in the contract.
What? In the contract for Deshaun Watson, is there like a massage, like
person
inserted? Yeah. No. God.
No comment. Have a fantastic day, everyone. She's Amanda LaFratta. I'm Dave Hooker. Go to offthehooksports.com. So we'll have a breakdown of the top incoming players, and we'll have interviews with Jacob Warren. How about Cooper Mays? How about Chris Landry? And more from Amanda LaFratta. G. Smith just said something I'm not going to repeat. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Off the